Alright, firstly, I'm just going to apologise if my voice is even more annoying than normal, because I've still got a bit of a cold. I'm not feeling great, I'll be honest, but I wanted to just get this video done, something that I wanted to film for a while. Oh, there's nobody here, it's still skid. Crap. Anyway, yeah, wanted to do this video for a while, and yeah, I figured let's just get it done. I'm never going to be, well, not never going to recover, but I've been ill for like a month, so yeah, let's just get it done. That makes it sound like it's such a chore. That's not really what I mean, but hopefully you get the idea. Should we start this again? I feel like we should start this again. Nah, fuck it. 2017, who gives a fuck? No, that was last year's phrase. I think Sai's got a new phrase for this year. I don't know what it is yet, but hopefully it's better than who gives a fuck, because that wasn't the most inspiring like phrase for us last year, was it? Anyway, this is like a really long intro. Let's just get to the point of the video. Alright, so I've had the R8 for like, what, 2 or 3 years? It's got to be 3 years now. And obviously that was like a goal. Like, I always wanted an R8, and I finally managed to get one. Really happy about it. Still enjoy the car, still glad I got it. But as soon as you achieve that goal, you're kind of like, well, what's the next goal? Like, what's the next thing that I can aim for? What's, you know, an even more expensive, even more exotic car? Obviously it doesn't have to be a car, but for me, it's cars. And the next car I always wanted is a Ferrari 458. Now, used Ferrari 458s have kind of stayed around like 150 grand for a decent one for the last couple of years. Yeah, you can get them cheaper. Somebody will be like, I found one for 105. Like, yeah, it's fucking left-hand drive, got dog shit smeared all over the seats, and like 60,000 miles on it, which is a lot for a supercar. So yeah, let's just ignore the really cheap ones. Like, you're still looking at 150 grand for a decent one. So yeah, that's always been what I've kind of been aiming towards, saving up for. And now I'm getting close to being able to afford that. I kind of don't think I would actually buy one. Like, I'm going off the idea. And it's not that I'm going off Ferraris or 458s in particular or anything like that. It's that I'm going off the idea of spending all that money, because 150 grand is a fuckload of money. Like, that is a lot of money. It's more money than most people can ever save up in their entire life. It's more money than I've ever had. And like, I don't know if I'm okay with just dumping all of that on one object, especially something that can be crashed, can be vandalised, can be damaged. Obviously you've got insurance, but I'd never want to claim on insurance, because then I'd probably never get insured again. Being young and having high performance cars, you get raped on insurance. But anyway, yeah, like, just spending that much money. And like, I think people get pretty numb to how much money that is on, like, you know, on YouTube and on social media in general. Like, you see people like Shmee and Mr. JWW, they've got like, what, nearly £1 million worth or £500,000 worth of cars on their driveway. Like, that's insane. But like, you get numb to it, and it just seems like it's kind of normal, and it's what anyone on YouTube with an exotic car should be doing, is buying new cars all the time that cost like 300 grand each or 200 grand each or whatever. Like, that's a lot of money. And like, I always thought that if I managed to save up, like, if I got near to like 150 grand, like for a 458, as soon as I got close to it, I'd be like, right, just fucking, I'll get a little bit of finance on it just so I can get it even sooner, and let's just do it. Let's just get it as soon as possible. But like I say, now that I'm getting closer, I'm like, do I really want to put all that money into it, into one thing? And especially because being self-employed, I've got no guarantee that I'm going to make that much money again. I've got no guarantee that I'm going to make any money tomorrow. Like, it could change. Like, it doesn't, like, realistically, I know my business well enough now over the last few years to know that it's not going to just drop off dead tomorrow. But, like, statistically, it's unlikely, but it's possible. And it made me kind of think that to buy a 150 grand car, you don't need 150 grand. You need like 200 grand, which sounds odd, but like, to still have enough money left over, enough savings to kind of see through any sort of dry spells for sales and stuff like that, and like a rainy day fund or whatever you want to call it. Like, because like, if I buy a 150 grand car, I've still got all my mortgage and other cars to pay for, and not finance payments on any cars, but you know, actually there's still like a grand's worth of finance on the GT86, I think. I should probably pay that off. But yeah, it's like a grand, it doesn't matter. But yeah, like, I've got a lot of other bills and things to pay that I need income every month for. So yeah, if I just suddenly had a few bad months, I'd need several £1,000s kind of in the bank ready, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it's just a crazy amount of money to spend on one thing. Like, and it makes me appreciate just how much people must be earning who are buying brand new Ferraris and, you know, Ford GTs and Aventadors and all sorts of stuff like that. You've got to have a shitload of money. Or maybe they know some trick that I don't. Maybe there's some crazy good finance deals where or like leasing deals or whatever. But I don't like to get into that kind of stuff. I'd rather just, like, and Si has said this a lot, is that like buying like an exotic supercar or something, it shouldn't be like, oh, you just do whatever to get it, like all these crazy finance payments or just lease it or whatever. Like, it should be a reward for you being successful enough in your business so that you can just afford to spend 150 grand on a car or however much. Like, so, and I kind of share that idea as well. I don't know, that's my opinion on it. I know some people will disagree with that, but that's how I think of it. So yeah, for me to buy an exotic car like a Ferrari or whatever, I would want to have all that money plus a lot more to be able to like sustain myself afterwards, like I've just said. So yeah, like to trade the R8 in, I would get about 55, 60 grand at a push, which doesn't mean that you can get a R8 with my amount of mileage and age and whatever for 50 grand, but that's what I'd get trading in. So yeah, to go to like 150 grand for a 458, that's like triple the value. Like I would have to sell the R8 and put another 100 grand in, and that's just crazy. And like, for what? This is my problem. Is yeah, a 458 is really cool. I've always wanted one, and it would handle a bit better than the R8. It wouldn't be faster because of the supercharger on the R8. So it wouldn't be faster, but it would handle better. It would have a nicer interior. It'd be more exotic. It would get more attention, which I don't really want actually. But so yeah, it'd be cooler. But would you pay 150 grand to be cooler, to be a bit cooler than what you've already got? Like going from a normal sports car to a supercar like the R8. And I know some people will say it's not a supercar. I think it is, the V10 at least. Let's not get into this again. So yeah, for the sake of this discussion, let's call it a supercar. But going from one supercar to another is not really that big of a deal. Like going from not having a supercar to having one, that's a big jump, and that's really fun and really different. I'm not going to say life-changing, but like it's different. But yeah, just going from an R8, which is a two-seater mid-engined supercar with like 700 brake now, but let's just say it's 520 brake standard. Going from that to a 458, which is a two-seater mid-engine supercar with like 500 brake standard, do you know what I mean? Like, there's not much difference. So I don't know. I'm like, is it worth spending all that money, all those savings, all those years of work to get something that's just a little bit nicer inside, looks a bit nicer outside? And the problem is as well, with the 488 coming out now, the 458 looks quite dated to me. Like, I used to love, I still love the design of it. I still love looking at them. But as soon as I see the rear lights, I'm just like, wish it was a 488. Like, the 488 back end just looks so much more modern to me. So, yeah, that kind of, I'm like, I'm spending all that money to get something that looks dated already. Like, it's kind of hard to justify even more then. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, there's no like final decision. I'm not saying like I'm never going to buy another supercar or anything. Oh, and that's one thing I wanted to touch on as well, is that I think a lot of people expect if you're on YouTube and you've got an exotic car, then you should be changing your car every year or every 6 months, buying a new car or whatever, because that's what a lot of the bigger channels do. But like, it's not realistic, is it? Like, I want this channel to always be like down to earth and realistic, and like, I don't see myself as like a rich person, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just a normal person who happens to make a bit more money than most people and can afford a nicer car. Like, well, nice is maybe not the right word, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a more expensive car. I don't want to sound like I'm being like snobby and be like, oh, all these other people in the normal cars, mine's so much nicer, you know what I mean? Not like that. But yeah, like, I've always been conscious of that, and realistically, you don't change your car every 6 months and cost yourself a load of money. Like, if you've been working hard for years to get that dream car, you're gonna keep it for a while. And like, I've kept it for a long time. And I think like a lot of the comments probably on this video and just on YouTube in general and social media are always egging people on to buy a new car and get something different, because to you, it's just some new videos with a different car. It's cool. Like, it's what you want to see, is keep it fresh, keep new content coming. But don't forget that that's someone's life. Like, for me, that's a hell of a lot of money to not throw away, but you know what I mean, throw on one thing. And like, a lot of sacrifices and time and effort have been made to make that money, to just throw it on one thing just for the sake of entertaining a few strangers on YouTube is kind of not worth it. So yeah, like, I don't know, I didn't phrase that very well, but hopefully you get what I mean. Like, people who comment on YouTube videos always want the YouTuber to go and get a new car all the time. They don't stop and consider that that's £100,000 they've got to spend to get that car. Do you know what I mean? Like, hopefully that came across a bit better that time. This is going to be terrible, this whole video. I'm just rambling on. feeling like I'm about to die. And yeah, it probably sounds horrific as well with my nose all bunged up, but whatever. Dedication blog, reality. You know, we don't wait till we're better. We just film even though we sound like shit. Who cares? Anyway, there was one other point I was going to make. Can't remember what it was. I'll get back to you in a minute. Oh, I think I've remembered the point I was going to make. It was just a little thing. I was just going to say that some people might be like, oh, if you're making that much money, spend it. Like, don't be tight. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I'm not tight. I'm the opposite of tight. I waste money like you wouldn't believe. Like, I mean, I'm driving around an M4 every day just for the fun of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not tight when it comes to spending money on cars. The amount of money I've spent on the GT86, and like buying the R8 and drifting it and getting through tyres, like 300 quid a pop for tyres on the R8, and I still smash it everywhere and drift it all the time. So like, yeah, I'm not tight when it comes to spending money on cars, but 150 grand. I feel like I need to just emphasise that because it's so much money. Like, think if you had, the problem is if you say, oh, if you had 150 grand, would you spend it on a car? Everyone goes, yeah. But that's because you're just kind of thinking you've been given 150 grand. Someone just gave me 150, I'd spend it on a car. But if you'd had to work for years to earn that, and you weren't sure if you were ever going to get that much money again, or how your business would go in the future, would you dump it all on a Ferrari? Like a used Ferrari? And that, going back to the point that I made about like people want YouTubers to get new cars all the time, if, like, to me that would be a massive deal, spending that much money on a used Ferrari, and then in the comments and that, it would just be like, it's just a 458, you know what I mean? They're kind of old now. Loads of people on YouTube have done plenty of videos with them already. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal at all to anyone else that are used for a Ferrari 458. Like, that's not anything impressive to most people. I remember I mentioned to someone in, I think it was in the Supercar Driver Club, mentioned to someone that I was thinking about getting one, and they're like, bit boring. I was like to me that's still like a crazy exotic dream car, but to other people it's just, you see loads of them. And it does depend where you live a lot as well, because like up here in Lincolnshire, you don't see supercars. Like, I can count on one hand the amount of supercars I've seen in like 10 years of living here. Maybe not on one hand, on two hands I can count the amount of exotic cars in 10 years. So like, yeah, whereas in London or further down south, you see them all the time. So it does depend a lot on where you live. So a 458 to me is like really rare and exotic, but to other people that's probably like pretty common and meh. So yeah, I think that was it. There's probably something I've forgotten, but I've rambled on for 16 minutes now, so yeah, sorry about that. I'll trim some of it out, trim the more shit bits out, so it's going to be 2 minutes long. But yeah, let me know what you think. Like, if you were in my position, not that it's going to change my mind what someone says in the YouTube comments, but like, do you think if you'd worked for years and saved up for years, and I know, like, I keep saying saved up, and people would be like, yeah, but you bought like an M4 and spent all that money on the GT86, it's not really saving up. But this is what I mean about me not being tight, is that I'm terrible with money in terms of saving it. Like, if I've got 20 grand in the bank, I want to spend that straight away. Like, I want to spend 20 grand on a new car or a supercharger and all sorts of other bits and whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it burns a hole in my pocket. I'm terrible for it. So for me to save up to almost be able to buy a 458 or something for years, like, and not spend that money in those years, because yeah, I spent a bit on the M4, but the whole time that I've been spending money on the GT86 and on this, I've been saving more than I've been spending, if that makes sense. So yeah, like, anytime you've got money left over each month, you're saving money. Like, even if you're spending £1,000 a month, if you're saving £1,000 as well, then you're still saving, because you could have just spent all of it. Does that make sense? What I'm saying is, even though it looks like I spend a lot of money on cars and stuff, I am still saving money up. Like, I would much rather spend even more on the GT86 and on other cars and things, but trying to be good, trying to save up. And yeah, but now I've got to this point, I'm like, well, I've saved up for all these years and put all this work in, and now do I really want to just blow it all on one car that won't be that different to what I've got? That's my thinking. I could have maybe saved you like 16 minutes by just starting with that sentence, but yeah, there you go. So yeah, let me know what you think. And that's not like a typical YouTuber, let me know what you think so that you comment and so that YouTube shares it more. That's like, I actually want to know what you guys think. Like, I'm curious if people are going to be like, if people are going to be how I think and just be like, yeah, just buy it, like, we want to see the videos, you know what I mean? Like, still kind of have no concept of £150,000, or if people get it. I think most of our viewers are pretty sensible and pretty, like, level-headed, I think you'll probably get it. I haven't decided like one way or the other. I just thought I'd kind of update you guys on what I'm thinking at the moment. I am going to be buying another car soon. I maybe should have mentioned this earlier as well. But it's going to be another drift car. It's going to be another project car, and that'll be on the other channel, which I will link to in the description. But yeah, there's another. If you missed the update a while ago, there's a separate channel now for drifting stuff. So all this stuff of the other car will be on there. But yeah, it's nothing crazy expensive, nothing crazy exotic. It's just another drift car build. But I'm keeping the GT86 as well. So yeah, there'll be a whole separate video explaining that on the Chris Drift channel. So I'll shut up about that on here. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you were in this position, what do you think you'd do? Would you, if you already had a supercar, let's pretend the R8's a supercar. If you already had a supercar, would you spend triple the amount that car's worth to get a slightly different supercar? Like if it's taking you years to save that much money up. People who are spending 200 grand on a car, I think must have saved up a lot more than that. Like I said, if I spend 150 grand, I would want to have 200 grand in the bank so that I can comfortably afford to spend 150 on a car. And I'm not going to have 200 grand in the bank for a long time. So yeah, maybe not ever. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with my life is basically what I'm saying in terms of cars. So let me know what you do, and I'll see you in the next video.